Today we are going to be talking about the best Les Paul you can get for under $1,000. Very quick, just to get out of the way, the housekeeping stuff. If you could give me a sub, right? That's the lingo. I would really appreciate it. I'm still trying to grow this thing up. I'm trying to put out like one video a week right now. You know, 1,000 subs helps get somebody a long way on this platform. So if you could, I'd appreciate it. Or if you just want to give the video a like, drop a comment with your opinion at the end, anything to kind of like help the metrics, it all helps. So I'd appreciate it. So I'm not typically a PRS guy. I've only owned one other PRS a couple years ago. I had, it was like, I think a custom 24, like a double cutaway. It was just a really wacky green that I thought looked good. I never really played it a ton, and then I kind of got rid of it. This is very different. This is an absolutely fabulous guitar. And what this is a PRS SE McCarty 594 Singlecut. And they have the Singlecut, oh god, it's the standard, and then the Singlecut like plain top. This is the plain top. So what you're looking at is just a piece of mahogany. They're the standard, which is a little more, has a maple cap on it. This is just a big, thick-ass block of mahogany. And you can, you know, when you kind of shop around, you can get some really pretty looking tops that are, it totally depends on the cut of wood you get. So if you're shopping somewhere like Sweetwater, where you can shop for your guitar for pictures of it, you can really pick out a pretty guitar. I was able to pick out a pretty guitar. So it is a thick-ass piece of mahogany. This, the body's bound, the neck is bound. On the standard, you don't get binding. It kind of looks like it from afar, but you just, you see the maple cap on top of your mahogany on the standard one. But for all intents and purposes, the standard model has a maple cap. This does not. So you save like 50 bucks new, I think, but everything else is the same. Pickups are the same, necks the same, tuners are the same. So let's start at the top. You get a, actually, you know, I don't know how it's still a controversial shape, but the PRS headstock is still kind of a controversial shape, especially if you're trying to crack into this market, which is like your very much traditionalist kind of market. But you have your PRS headstock. Your tuners are kind of, you know, vintage Kluson inspired. They work great. I think they look cool with the headstock shape. Got my syllables mixed up there. Moving on to the neck profile. This is thing number one that I wasn't expecting with this guitar at all. It's chunky. It's chunky, but it's not too chunky. Like, it literally feels like, I don't know what they were trying to replicate with this. They say on the website it's like, you know, like vintage inspired, but it fills out your hand really, really well. It's not as fat as the neck on my SG standard, but it fills, I mean, it's a fabulous neck, if I can say so. If you're into the super like slim taper D shreddy, you're gonna fucking hate it. But it's chunky and it fits in your palm really, really well. The frets on here, wasn't expecting those either. I play a lot of Les Pauls, SGs, Stratocasters, Tellys, 60s inspired guitars. And I always forget until I pick up a guitar that's like not trying to be a 60s replica. Frets have gotten pretty big and pretty fat, and I like it. So you have some modern, pretty thick frets on here. They feel great. The board is, it looks like rosewood. Somebody correct me if it's actually laurel or something, but it looks like rosewood. Controls, we'll get here in a sec. These are the two most important things. But down here, you have your 4 controls, standard as always, but you have your push-pulls, and I don't know if I've ever pulled. So I never, you know, it's one of those things. I don't really use the coiled split or tap feature or whatever. Some people do. For some people, that's a make or break, and that's here if you want it. The nut, you get a black nut. Do I know what it's made out of? No. It feels kind of like a graphic-y material, though. It's not like, you know, a piece of shit that they stuck on there that's plastic. This tailpiece is a little weird. Well, at least it looks kind of weird. In practice, it's not that weird. It's just like, you know, a Gibson stop tailpiece where you run your string through it, except for here, it's, there's just a little slot. I don't know if you can see that. Little slot cutaway so you can, you know, either string it through or run it in through the top and over, if that makes any sense. So I'm gonna play, get a couple sounds out of it. Cleans, just amplifier, any kind of classic rocky stuff, Wampler Tumnus, because this doesn't really, I'm still getting used to this amp, honestly. I made a whole review about it. I'm still getting used to it. I really do love it, but it's weird not having a amp that has any kind of like built-in overdrive sort of thing. And if I do any kind of like modern gainy stuff, that's coming from an EVH 5150 box on the floor. So let's take a listen and we will regroup. If you're like me, if your default, and there's a reason I have that amplifier, right? If your default is just a beautiful clean tone, and when you dirty it up a little bit, you don't go crazy with, but like I play so much of my playing on just a good clean tone, and that's just where I will doodle around. This is perfect. If you're a classic rock guy, this is perfect. Again, the only people I would say this is not for are your guys that love a really thin, shreddy neck. This doesn't have that, and this is not trying to be that. Kind of like in my video about the SG, like it's just not trying to be that. You can probably make it work, but that's not really what it's for. What this is for a modern player who appreciates the classics, we'll say. A good low output pickup, a fat, comfy neck, and frankly, like a body shape that's timeless and with some modern amenities, like the frets, like the controls with the whatever. And the hard part about, the hard part about this is not comparing it to a Gibson or an Epiphone, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Is this like blowing every Gibson Les Paul out of the water? No. I've played some Les Pauls that are virtually life-changing. That's how good they are. I've played some Les Pauls that are absolute dog shit, and they want just a ridiculous amount of money, and it's full of problems, and it's fucking firewood. Is this incredibly just leaps and bounds above every Epiphone? Like, that might be exaggerating a little bit. Epiphone's making some killer guitars right now. However, with Epiphone moving into the, like, it's looking like to get an Epiphone with a good pair of pickups in it, it's going to be like $1,500. I'd go with this every day of the week. These things, man, you can pick them up used now, the floating around Reverb, for like $600, I think like $650. And for that amount of money, this is an insane amount of guitar. So if you're in the market for a Les Paul, or even just if you're a PRS guy that doesn't typically do the super traditional thing, but you want to give it a go, I cannot begin to tell you how good this thing is. So have you guys owned one of these? What do you think? Am I just like barking mad? Or am I onto something? That maybe the best Les Paul being made under $1,000 isn't bearing the name Les Paul. So let me know in the comments, everybody. If you've had one and you love it, let me know. If you had one and it was a complete piece of shit, let me know. But I really, really, really enjoy this thing, and I kind of bought it on an impulse, and I'm really glad I did. So take care, everybody.